From the Detroit Free Press, it's Thursday, September 19th. Here are today's top stories.
For the Detroit Free Press Auto Team, I'm Jamie LaRue. As the UAW strike against GM finishes its third day, auto worker Mike Yakim has already walked picket lines in 2 states. Yakim spent more than 8 years on the assembly line at GM's plant in Lordstown, Ohio. The last Chevy Cruze compact car rolled off the line there in March, and the plant is closed. Yakim was transferred to GM's Lansing Delta Township. Sunday was just his 6th day on the job there, and a minute before midnight his shift came to a halt because the UAW ordered a nationwide strike. He walked the line there the next morning. Then, responding to a Facebook plea from UAW members in Lordstown for help, he drove 280 miles there. By Wednesday morning, he was on the picket line in Lordstown, where he'll stay all week. If the strike continues, he will picket in Lansing next Friday. It sounds like a lot, but Yakim said it's the right thing to do, and he still considers Lordstown his home.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Emma Keith. Officials say a Detroit strip club was the site of prostitution and drug use. Now, the club is temporarily closing. Penthouse Club will shut down for a year, and the city will auction off the items inside by a judge's order. Detroit police and law officials say that vice officers found used condoms, drug use evidence, and violations of city-ordered renovations inside Penthouse. The city says the club dancers took undercover officers to dark areas of the club that they believe were used for sexual activity. Penthouse lawyer Cyril Hall says there was no prostitution at Penthouse, and the club followed city orders. Hall also says there was no criminal complaints against the club. But those who live around Penthouse say the club was loud, and patrons left trash and had sex outside their homes. Several residents celebrated Penthouse's closure as a neighborhood victory.
I'm Susan Tompor, and I write a column about money for the Detroit Free Press. We're about to see interest rates on credit cards and car loans head even lower, just in time for holiday shopping. The Fed just cut short-term rates on Wednesday. It's the second rate cut since July. And now the bad news? The Fed is cutting rates as an insurance policy of sorts to shore up the U.S. economy. No, we're not in a recession, but some manufacturing companies are already cutting back given trade tensions between the United States and China. The Fed is also watching the GM-UAW strike. If the strike at GM drags on for weeks and weeks, the strike could spell even more trouble for the Midwest. A lot of economic headlines to watch here. Even so, a small rate cut is likely to help more than a few pocketbooks.
This is Brian McCullum, music writer with the Detroit Free Press. The success continues to pile up for gospel star Kierra Sheard, and her star is shining brighter than ever. These are busy and bountiful times for the 32-year-old Detroit singer. On Saturday, she'll be part of a Motown gospel concert at Detroit World Outreach on the city's west side, part of a weekend of hometown festivities as the company celebrates its 60th anniversary. The show will include appearances by Ty Tribbett, Tasha Page Lockhart, and other contemporary gospel figures. It follows Sheard's Tuesday appearance on ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, where she joined Chance the Rapper for I Got You Always and Forever, a song she co-wrote for the Chicago Star's new album. And last Friday, she was at home in Greater Emmanuel Church, where she staged a concert for a pumped-up Detroit audience to record a live album. That record, titled Kierra, is scheduled for release in January. Kierra Sheard, also known as Kiki, is the daughter of Karen Clark Sheard, a member of the famed Clark Sisters. That Detroit group helped transform gospel music by using elements from modern R&B, dance music, and even hip-hop. Kierra Sheard will appear as her mom in an upcoming Clark Sisters biopic due to premiere on the Lifetime channel in January. She tells the Free Press the filming experience gave her a new respect for her mother and says she even got lightheaded trying to nail her mom's soprano notes. The movie is the second high-profile on-screen part for Sheard, who appeared in the 2010 movie Preacher's Kid.
This is Free Press Sports Editor Chris Thomas. Matt Patricia gets his first chance to atone for the Philly special on Sunday when the Detroit Lions travel to play the Eagles in Philadelphia. The game is a rematch of sorts from Super Bowl 52. You remember the game for one of the more iconic plays in Super Bowl history. when Nick Foles shot out of the backfield, caught a 1-yard pass from Trey Burton, scampered into the end zone, and helped the Eagles win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Of course, the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots that day was Matt Patricia. And not long after that, he was announced as the Detroit Lions' new head coach. On Wednesday, speaking to reporters, Patricia said he tries not to look back at that Super Bowl 52 loss. And yet, for a man with 3 Super Bowl rings on his fingers, you can bet that Sunday's game in Philadelphia will mean a little bit more for the Detroit Lions head coach.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. And sign up for the Daily Briefing newsletter. See you tomorrow.